So good day everyone. I am Tagalogon from BSHM3A. So today I will present an overview of the role of the government in developing, organizing, and promoting the tourism industry in the Philippines. So we will also discuss the key government agencies involved in tourism, their function, and some relevant legal causes. So next slide please. So these are the learning objectives. So by the end of this presentation, you should be able to identify the various government agencies involved in the development and promotion of tourism. Next is describe the relationships between these agencies. Next is explain the possibility of public service as the career in the tourism industry. These aspects are essential in understanding how tourism is regulated and promoted in the country. So next slide please. The role of government in tourism. So the Philippine government plays a critical role in the development of tourism. So according to former Secretary of Tourism Richard Gordon, effective tourism management requires collaboration between the public and private sectors, as well as cooperation from the local communities. So, tourism is not only an economic driver, but it also a tool for cultural preservation and national development. So, next slide, please. Case study, the overpriced NAIA Terminal 3. So the construction of the Ninoy Aquino International Airport Terminal 3 or the NAIA 3 was intended to solve airport congestions. So however, it faced major issues such as overpricing allegations. So the project cost was questioned with report of overpricing by $140 million. So can we imagine? So next is contract violations. So the Supreme Court nullified the contract due to changes that were disadvantageous to the government. Next is the government takeover. So the government assumed control of the project, citing corruption and violation of the anti-dummy law. Next is the substandard construction. So a rapid deterioration of parts of the terminal raised concerns about safety. So they are the key question to be considered. First is should the terminal's operation be delayed until investigation are completed? Next is what measures can be implemented to prevent similar issues in future infrastructure projects? So next slide please. Establishment of the Department of Tourism or the DOT. So recognizing the need for structured tourism development in the Philippines, government established the Department of Tourism or the DOT through Presidential Decree number 189 in 1973. So the primary goal of DOT is to make tourism a driver of national development, attract international visitors to appreciate the country's culture and natural beauties. Next is, so they are responsible for, they will foster national pride among Filipinos. So the DOT remains the lead agency responsible for tourism growth and policy making. So next slide please. The function of the Department of Tourism or the DOT. So the DOT has several key functions including supervising all government activities related to tourism. So next is simplifying travel regulations to encourage more visitors. So they are responsible for promoting the Philippines as a global tourism destinations. So they are also responsible for reviewing the and approving tourism project for government funding and tax incentives. So next is accrediting travel agencies, tour operators, and tourist establishments. So these function ensure a well-regulated and competitive tourism sectors. So next slide, please. Case study of Malate Tourism Development Corporation or the MTDC. So a legal dispute arose when the Malate Tourist Development Corporation or the MTDC challenged a Manila City ordinance banning motels and inns in the Ermita Malate area. So the ordinance was intended to curb establishment that allegedly harm public morality. So these are the key legal issues. The city government argued that it had the power to regulate business under the local government code. So the MTDC countered that regulation does not mean outright prohibitions. So the legal ruling, so the Supreme Court ruled that the ordinance was unconstitutional, stating the local governments must regulate businesses with due process, not arbitrarily prohibited them. Next slide, please. The Philippine Tourism Authority or the PTA. So the Philippine Tourism Authority or the PTA was created under the Presidential Decree number 564 in 1974. So this they are responsible for to oversees the development of tourism projects and to promote tourism zones and integrated resort complexes. So they are also responsible for assist private enterprises in tourism investments. So they ensure fair land pricing of tourism-related business. So the PTA also play a crucial role in financing and managing the government-led to tourism projects. So next slide, please. Case study: expropriation of land for tourism. So the heirs of Juanco Ardona challenged the constitutionality of Presidential Decree number 564, which designated their land as tourism zone and subjected it to expropriation. So legal ruling. So this means that the Supreme Court ruled that the government has the right to expropriate private property for tourism development under the principle of eminent domain. Tourism is recognized as part of national interest and the development project that serve public welfare and valid reasons for expropriations. Next slide, please. The Intramuros Administrations or the IA. So the Intramuros Administration was created under Presidential Decree number 1616 in 1979. It is to restore and maintain Intramuros as historical landmark, so ensure all structure conform to Philippine Spanish architecture from 16th to 19th centuries. So they regulate land use, building height, and constructions design. The IA's strict policies aim to balance development with heritage. So um, So pag tour namo so nindot kayo ang kuan ah Ilocos. So next slide please, the other government agencies in tourism. So several other government agencies contribute to tourism management. The National Parks Development Committee or the NPDC. So they develops national parks and heritage sites. Next is the National Historical Institute or the NHI. So they preserve and restore historical landmarks. Next is for the National Commission for Culture and Arts, so the NCCA. So they promote Filipino culture and arts. Next is the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or the BSP. So they are overseas financial regulation affecting tourism businesses. Next is the National Economic Development or the Authority or the NEDA. So they ensure that tourism aligns with national economic plans. Next slide, please. For that conclusion, so the government plays a critical role in regulating and promoting tourism. So key agencies such as the DOT, ETA, and IA ensure proper tourism development. So legal issues such as contract disputes, expropriation, and business regulation must be handled within the framework of existing laws. So tourism governance requires collaboration between public and private sectors to ensure national and economic growth. So understanding this principle is essential for anyone considered a career in public service within the tourism industry. So that's all and thank you.